So it's been a couple weeks now since the mono white humans deck with Shining Shoal started popping up, doing well in some challenges. And I actually meant to grab that list to show you, but I can just kind of describe it to you. So that was a mono white humans deck playing Champion of the Parish, Thalia's Lieutenant, Esper Sentinel, Luminarch Aspirant, and playing Shining Shoal, a card that has seen like basically zero modern play to my knowledge up until this point. It's a free spell. It's a Modern Horizons 2 card. You may exile a white card from your with mana value X from your hand rather than pay the spell's cost. Like it says, the next X damage that a source of your choice would deal to you and our creatures you control is dealt by to any target instead. And so like the big combo is of course with Emeria's Call. This for 0 mana can present the next 7 damage dealt by a source. So this can be like a creature with a Colossus Hammer on it, a Fury, and then a Holy Heat, a Murktide Regent, a Primeval Titan, and you can redirect it wherever you want. And ideally, your opponent's face, but also like sometimes like the creature itself, which is very cool. Very cool, like zero mana way to swing things in your favor in a big way. This humans list is playing Chancellor of the Annex, a card that is the most value you get from Chancellor is on Magic Online. Your opponents don't realize that you've revealed it and they just play into it. But excuse me. In my experience, playing against Chancellor, when that card is revealed, it is just like when you know it's there, it really doesn't do very much. It really doesn't do very much. But you know what card is a white spell and has a really high mana value for Shining Shoal? It is actually like really, really strong. Leyline Binding. It is 6 instead of 7, which I think is fine. It even like completely redirects on Holy Heat. This like Leyline Binding is a very, very powerful spell, and Chancellor of the Annex isn't. So I think if you're going to play this Shining Shoal package, jumping through the Leyline Binding hoops is worth it, especially because you get to pitch it, early to this or to Shoal or Solitude, and then it's like a 1 mana premium removal spell in the mid to late game. We've actually done this in the past, built a mono white deck with just like a lot of fetches and off-color lands for Leyline Binding and Prismatic Ending. We did that in the first draft of the Heliod deck, and it totally works. You could do a few different things here. Right now I'm playing Esper Triome and then Temple Garden Sacred Foundry, mostly because I want untapped red for my one of Fervent Champion and my Wear Tears, and then a Temple Garden for the Haywire Mite. I know the Fervent Champion looks weird, but after some testing, it's like when you're playing 4 Stoneforge Mystic and 4 Ranger-Captain, that first Fervent Champion to tutor off Ranger-Captain I think is worth it, especially when you have 11 red sources. It really doesn't cost you very much to play the first copy, but being more in on the red splash is really costly. So another thing too is like, so this is not the humans deck. This is Stoneblade instead. I think that you could do a few. This isn't definitely how you have to build a deck, but I'm thinking that cards like Champion of the Parish, Thalia's Lieutenant are a lot worse when you have like some number of tap lands in the early game and you're playing like slower removal spells too. I think that this Stoneblade package, it makes more sense to complement. And also like Stoneforge Mystic is a lot better with Shining Shoal in your deck, because you get to go turn 2 Stoneforge Mystic and they like bolt it or heat it or Fury or whatever, and you get to Shoal to protect it. I think that is a very interesting dynamic as well. And again, the one-off champion that you can tutor off Ranger-Captain does make Stoneforge Mystic a little bit more powerful than it usually is. A lot of other card choices you could go. Like, I think the first Extraction Specialist is pretty good. Definitely not mandatory. I think 10 removal spells is a good number. You can play around with that. I think 21 lands is a good number. You can play around with it a little bit, though. Whereas Squadron Hawk's Force of Virtue, dude, I love Squadron Hawk Force of Virtue. I almost pulled the trigger, but it's like you also kind of need Vial with Squadron Hawk Force. It's just too many cards. But you could try to go that direction for sure. I would have loved to go that direction, but I think this is like the slightly more competitive build. Which Sorcery, I think I'm playing Sword of Fire Ice in the main. I think it's better than Forge and Frontier. I do actually think Forge and Frontier is the second best one. And then I typically like to have a Sword of Feast and Famine in the sideboard for like Titan Yawgmoth control in these kind of Stoneblade decks. I'll bring it in those matchups. Yeah, good old Batterskull. I think the Batterskull's fine. Not 100% sure. So this is the deck. Pretty excited for it. Toski Streamwind. Oh, man. My heart. Remember, like, towards the beginning of MH1, I was playing Imperial Recruiter and a Stoneblade Shell. And you had, like, one Tosk you could tutor. No Chancellors. Yeah, that's the idea, is that you don't have to play Chancellor. Chancellor is, like, a really, really unimpactful card. And, of course, the idea is you could pitch it to Shoal. But instead of playing Chancellor, you have Leyline Binding. You have Leyline Binding to pitch to Shoal instead. And that card fucking slaps, you know? Okay, and then also, I failed to mention this, but you have my favorite curve in Modern, Esper Sentinel into Luminarch Aspirant. I just love doing this. The Dark Souls runs, why do you fight the Mimic and Sig Fortress when there's two at the top of the ring around the Rosy Stairs? Okay, so you have to use those Lloyd's Talismans I use, you have to use those. Ooh, I could double Giver also. Alright, it's hard to pass up on double Giver. So you have to use the Lloyd Talismans as many times as I do to guarantee getting the Symbol of Avarice. Dark Souls tracks how many times you've either killed a Mimic or used a Lloyd's Talisman on a Mimic. And once you get up to like 6 or 7, however many you do, then it guarantees dropping the Symbol of Avarice. Which is something like, you know, you would never find out on your own. Merfolk, maybe. I don't think I need to attack with a Giver here. When do you play Over Moonlight in mono white decks? I play Over Moonlight in mono white decks when I just don't feel that I'm able to hold up mana very easily. Like, this is a deck that is trying to tap out on most turns, and when you're tapping out on most turns, having to hold up that mana, I think, is not where you want to be. Ooh, Stoneforge Mystic. Okay, so I can go Sacred Foundry, Leyline Binding, plus Stoneforge here for Sword of Fire Ice. Could be bad into a Force, I suppose. They do have the Force. It's likely okay, though. Do I still want to get Sword of Fire and Ice? It could be better to just grab a Kaldra. Let's see, so I can go 3 power, pro blue, attack for 3 down to 13. Hold on, sorry, my song sucked. I think I like how Kaldra is a little bit like less mana intensive here. Although I'm not sure that I'm attacking. I think I'm not attacking. Sword can kill Island Walk Lord. It's just harder with this in play, though. I know we can Prismatic Ending it for 3, but if we draw land, we can go Prismatic Ending for 3 plus Kaldra 2. Six Little Puppy, getting think for the 13. Oh, we do have... This is max punished for playing the Trio mana base. The Force of Negation was really timely, too. Although, interesting, they're not actually attacking with Trickster. Adept reveal another copy of Trickster. That's really good card to know about. Really scary, though. So I can maybe Solitude Lord of Atlantis in combat next turn. And then put a counter here, or block here. I guess it has indestructible, though. It's fine. Whereas the one of Ballista? Ballista is not like a playable card without the Heliod combo. I think, at least. Not if I kill the Lord. I can't kill the Lord, it has Ward. Oh, sorry, that's still Solitude. I don't know what I'm thinking about. Not if I kill the Lord. No, it still is indestructible. This is indestructible if they have 2 more Merfolk, right? What's the top rest in Shining Shoal? Well, Shoal is like, this is a card that is like winning tournaments and like performing well. It's just very powerful effect for 0 mana. Uh-oh. Fuck. And they have Trickster? Man. What Well, this is lethal. Kind of crazy they're not attacking with this. I should have salted this one, I guess. I'm also super dead, though. I think now I am solituding still the lore because my main out is just like getting rid of their island walk. Alright. Didn't find it out. Life was too high. Game 2. Not the scariest matchup ever, of course. Unlikely that too much is going to change post-board. The Shining Shoals are not great. Yeah, the Shining Shoals are definitely not great. We could play the Haywire Mite. Giant Killer's not great either. Probably somewhat playable. Maybe Mite is worse than Wear Tear? No, it's not. We can play one Mite, one Wear Tear, one Shoal, and a Giant Killer. Yeah, the Force Negation was so key. The Sentinels aren't that good. Actually, they're probably a little bit better than you'd think. They actually have a decent number of non-creature spells. Okay, no one drop. We have both Kaldra and Batterskull in our hand. This hand, like, kind of just loses to Dismember. I think I'm gonna keep it. What's the furthest for the no-hit run? Like right before Seath still. My controller broke, so I had to take some days off, and then last night was like the first stream back, and we had to do a lot of resets on Ornstein and Smo, and then I got hit on the Sentinel right before Ornstein and Smo on like the third or fourth reset or something like that. And so now I have to adjust my strategy to avoid that going forward. Okay, so third land, it makes this plan a little bit better, so now I can go Ranger-Captain for Fervent Champ to make the sword more powerful. If they do have the Dismember, they do have the Dismember. Yeah, this hand was definitely like much better against a non-Dismember draw, of course. Tide Shaper. Bricks with 7 months. Okay, I'm glad they targeted that, not the Sacred Foundry. Mana base is pretty painful this game, huh? Already at 13. So we need a... Oh, they have a Subtlety. Interesting. Well, I'm going to bottom this. Opponent's draw's been pretty good. Why not a Sash Maul package to Bitch of Solitude Shoal? You could play Maul over Batterskull if you wanted, but both those cards suck, so... I don't know. That's why not, at least. You're really not like low on cards to pitch to those cards either, and like pitching a 2 or 3 drop to Shoal is not that good either. Okay, down to 8. Maybe losing to Merfolk here. Yeah, the draws have definitely lined up really well against mine. Am I even just dead on board? I guess not dead on board now. Let's draw Solitude. I have to target them with the Sophie trigger because of the Ward 1. Oh, they can also chump block with Mutavault if they want. Oh, they have an Odawara? Okay, well, good shit. Gross. Gross match. Yeah, they paid 1 extra for Odawara. Okay, opponent revealed Giganta. Sentinel good against most Giganta decks. Yeah, Sentinel's really gross. Yeah, what's the new meme? Nice 0-1 start, I think. Okay, opponent shocks the Sacred Foundry. Probably gonna kill... Oh, well. I think that they were going to kill this if they were going to tank that long, but I guess not. So now Pending, and I think I'll go Sacred Foundry, Giver of Runes here. Ideally, we'll hold the Emeria's Call for a Shoal, but if I just have to play it as my third land, that's fine also. Bizarro, 18 months, thank you. They must have multiple creatures, right? Because... I don't know. Not sure why they're taking so long. Prismatic Ending on Giver of Runes instead of Sentinel. I think I'm relatively happy with that. Let's see what we draw. So there's some sort of prowess variant, I suppose. They could be a breach deck with kind of a weird draw, or I guess, you know, breaches. Prowess is kind of a breach deck. Is a breach deck, but not exactly what I meant, I guess. Let's go and grab the Sword of Fire and Ice. This would mean that if I can just grab Fervent Champion off Ranger-Captain if they kill my Stoneforge Mystic, and if they don't, I still have the Batterskull in my hand to pop into play here. Thanks, Bizarro, for the 18. I don't know, Lord Banana. You're gonna have to make that decision for yourself. Gigantha in the hand. Well, we're pretty happy to see that. Just gonna play the Emeria's Call tapped, I think. Could hold it. I could hold it, but I'm just so likely to use 4 mana next turn that I'm gonna, you know, just Righteous, not dealing myself damage. And holding it for a Shoal is also, like, certainly viable here. But I'm just gonna, you know, play good old-fashioned Modern. I'm gonna put a Sword of Fire and Ice on a Batterskull token. What? How's my opponent's hand this? What the heck? I think we block here. Just good, clean, honest living. Bolton Germa's scary play. It was scary, but we get to draw a card if they take that line, and like I can just like sword on the Sentinel if they take the line, so not really very worried about it, honestly. Yeah, Shoal is just a good card. So it combines really well with Emeria and then Leyline Binding to like 0 mana, redirect a ton of damage. Wherever you want. And so like these lists have been like just doing well in challenges, and okay, they're just done on board. These lists have been doing well in challenges, and they're playing Chancellor of the Annex, which is I think a pretty bad card. But instead, I'm just like, hey, Leyline Binding also does the same thing, but is like actually like a really good card. So that's kind of just my thesis statement here that we are testing in this list. Okay, so we're gonna bring in all our pro red cards. Matchup definitely gets pretty good post board. I'll bring in the Chalice also. Good Shining Shoal matchup. I think I'm cutting my Fervent Champion, and then maybe the Ranger-Captains too. Well, Ranger-Captain does find Forge-Tender, so it's a bit better post-board. I guess the Aspirants are actually the weak link here. Maybe trim a Binding also, kind of slow. Big Magic Players Convention, that's funny. Wow, what a low curve. Like, actual no 3-drops. I always hate the main deck Pirate Spellbomb, to be honest. It's like, that card is a cyborg card in my 22 lands is kind of wild. Yeah. It's an interesting list, though. Might have Solituding this. Probably need to save Solitude for a Sprite Dragon. You obviously said you prefer Shadow Spray over Batterskull as the lifelink of equipment of choice. Any specific reason? why this case is different, or is Spear mostly for Saga decks? So it's like that. That's only true like if you're already playing Saga and Stoneforge Mystic in the same deck. It's like the thing is, hold on. This is tough. I think Sentinel on turn 1 is like so good. We're gonna just jam it here. Yeah, it's it's like if you're already playing Saga, like you only ever play Shadow Spear in your deck if you have Urza Saga. You never play Shadow Spear without Saga. It's not very good to get off Stoneforge Mystic. But if you are already playing Saga and Shadow Spear, at that point the like upside of Batterskull is like really greatly diminished, and you don't want it as badly. Yeah, I always really liked Soul of Windgrace, and I always really liked Soul of Windgrace in the Jund Saga deck. Yeah, what does Glissa do? I remember seeing somebody online was talking about Glissa in Standard, I think, yesterday on Twitter, and I like looked at their deck list, but I couldn't read the card because it was it was like this crazy promo art. What does the new Glissa do? Can I get an Oracle text on Glissa? Oh, brutal Prismatic Ending. Could be a good Solitude turn. First Strike Death Touch. Oh, I didn't realize it also had First Strike Death Touch. Less important than Modern, but very cool combo, of course. Combo damage to player, choose one, draw a card, lose 1 life, destroy enchantment, remove 3 counters from target permanent. It's a 3 mana 3/3. I mean, that card's really powerful, but 3 mana 3/3 in Modern, no ETB effect is questionable. Guys, well, we weren't able to hold the Solitude for the Sprite Dragon. We can't Extraction Specialist back a Sentinel. I only have 1 Idyllic Grange, so I can't, like, put the counter on this here. But we do have a Lifelinker now, and we have a Batterskull in the hand. I sided out my Fervent Champion, so I can just get my Triumph, I guess. Not many playable Baneslayers in Modern. Yeah, it's like Murktide, Ragavan. DRC's not exactly a Baneslayer. They're all like 1 or 2 mana, though. There are currently 3. Yeah, the other one is First Strike Death Touch is Master of Cruelty, right? Shadow, yeah. I think I can't think of a single 3 mana Baneslayer though. 3 mana creature that you just play because it has good stats in Modern. Okay, thankfully, answer to the Sprite Dragon here. I think they just have to block, right? Yeah. I think Mantis Rider was the last one. Goyf, yeah, 3 mana. Yeah, Goyf is playable. No, Mayhem Devil's not a Baneslayer. Like, I think maybe it is. No. It gets value when you play it most of the time on the same turn. Adeline, yeah. Adeline is like that is a good example of just playable 3 mana creature. Adeline is a really good card. Oh, we're still on the deck. Brutal. Endurance. I mean, Endurance has an ETB. Dryad is a good one too, yeah. Kind of, I don't know, it has an effect where you get to play the land immediately, though. I don't know. I could see the case for it, though. Gigantha. Gigantha. The real free Baneslayer. Prowess so good. Sylvan, yeah. Sylvan's really good. But the problem is it's only really good if you have a bunch of merfolk. Ugh. Rough top of the library, huh? Don't think I'm supposed to Shining Shoal for 2. Maybe I could Shining Shoal for 3 and kill it if I had 1 more land. Yeah, these are cards I registered on. Would Fable count? 100% no. Yeah, Fable is like a quintessential, iconic Muldrifter. Again, the discussion is like, so there was an article, there's Muldrifters and there's Baneslayers. There are cards with like just good stats, and there are cards that give you like more spell-based value and are more resilient to removal. So dead this game. It's okay, we have game 3 on the play. Nettle, I don't know. We can move on. I don't think Nettlecyst is Nettlecyst is really resilient to removal though. I don't think I'd qualified as a Baneslayer. Maybe. I had Dark Souls Ringo last night, I believe right before ONS. So we got to ONS. We had to do like 3 or 4 resets on them, and then the Sentinel in front of ONS hit me with like a really weird attack that almost never happens, and I just like I wasn't ready for it. So and so like Hob always like uses the bow to kill that Sentinel. So that's I think what we're doing now. Either that or we're using the Dino strat of like aggroing it ahead of time. I haven't really exactly decided. According to you, Norn is only playable because of the 7 on the stat line. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and pack it in. I guess I could have Shining Shoal the dart, but let's just pack it in. Okay, we have a turn 2 Sanctifier. I'm also gonna like I'm just gonna keep the Emeria's Call for the Shining Shoal. Gonna try on turn 1. The Prismatic Ending on our Sanctifier last game was very timely, of course. Oh, I could actually. What if we Stoneforge Mystic turn 2? No, we should Sanctifier. We should Sanctifier, I think. So this means that like if they're gonna answer Sanctifier, they have to like Prismatic Ending right now, and if they Prismatic Ending, then I get to untap, play Stoneforge Mystic with maybe 2 shoals up to protect it. They're not Prismatic Ending, which is also like a good outcome. This living is a good outcome, especially if we can just put a sword on it. Sanctifier obviously neutered with the Channeler obviously neutered with the Sanctifier in play. Do they ever have Spell Pierce? I don't really think so. Okay, this is kind of weird. I know I said I was going to hold the Emeria's Call, but I think just being able to go Sentinel into Stoneforge Mystic is really good, and I can just pitch Shoal to Shoal also, which would protect this from a bolt. If they bolt right now, I get to draw a card. Yeah, it's a 0 mana spell. It's a Modern Horizons 2 card. We also get to kill the Channeler, too, if they bolt the Stoneforge Mystic. No Skyclave Hammer. You could play it. I mean, that card's really mediocre. It's okay. It's not a terrible card, but you're either playing that or you're playing Batterskull, and I think I want to play the Batterskull instead. Is there any big white equipment you can give her Shoal? There's like there's medium ones. I don't think there's a big one. Pending, okay. Well, this is, I think, a good outcome. Although it maybe means that they just have, like, a disenchant effect for my... Batterskull. So if I draw a land, I'll probably go for Sophie here. Sophie on a Sentinel is really good anyways. Yeah, the Ardent Shoal is pretty cool. The goldfish swimming around. Well, they haven't done anything yet. Let's just go ahead and play this Sentinel pre-combat. So if my opponent is gonna like wear tear, I guess this might not even affect that. Okay, they are gonna wear tear, so I get to draw my card. Do we ever wait for 6 mana to protect Batterskull? Well, it just kind of depends here on if we're going to put our opponent on 2 copies of Wear Tear, I suppose. Okay, so we actually don't have a 3 to protect the Sentinel with the Shoal. However, if my opponent is bolting this... If they're bolting Sentinel instead of Stoneforge Mystic, they have another wear tear, so I'm just going to get Kaldra instead of putting Batterskull into play. I was kind of taking 2, fetching Kaldra, putting into play. Maybe, you know, we are kind of like the control deck of the matchups to some extent, so I'm, you know, trying to keep my life total high as possible. Maybe it was a better line. I was thinking that I was going to put Batterskull in play, thinking that they wouldn't have 2 wear tears, but with their decision to kill the Sentinel instead of the Stoneforge Mystic, like all of a sudden I had to pivot plans. Deborah, 11 months, thank you. Is this the Chancellor Shoal deck? So it's not the Chancellor Shoal deck. In my opinion, Chancellor is completely unplayable, or like almost completely unplayable. It's like it's only playable because of Shoal, but why not just like, you know, play Leyline Binding instead? Obviously, it makes your mana like worse, but Leyline Binding is like a really, really powerful card, and it does basically the same thing. Yeah, I'm not sure if I could just slam Kaldra and have them dead in in 2 turns. And then, like, that's likely better against, like, instead of, like, letting them, like, kind of time walk me with the wear tear. We'll see. Now I get to also play Ranger-Captain, get a Forge-Tender, maybe upkeep sack Ranger-Captain to stop Breach, or I can also just respond to Breach with sacking Ranger-Captain. I like putting both equipment in, and next turn moving a skull on the Kaldra. Sweet. I really think that the main way my opponent is getting out of this is casting Underworld Breach this turn, so I'm going to play Ranger-Captain to play around that. Big Gruul combo. What in the world am I looking at? Ilgrag the Raise Boar. This is a Pioneer deck? Pioneer deck. So you're trying to Ilrag Terror into play. Q. Is that good? I don't know. Seems kind of good. So they're heating my token, which does kill it because of the Soulscar Mage. Wait, how does Shining Shoal interact with this? I don't know. Judge? It does and it works. Okay, well, fortunately I don't have any, you know, I don't have a big card to pitch. I think I'll just have to let this die. If I shoal, then it just doesn't kill this, and then I have a 1/1. 1/1 indestructible first strike, blah blah blah, but you just get to choose which replacement effects. Could maybe be better to sack an upkeep. I kind of want to sack the captain like in response to them casting Breach though. So this is cool. I'm really shocked you're not playing the full 8 mana dorks. Is Elder Gargaroth as awesome as I remember it being? Okay, so if they attack with this, I can Shoal, prevent the next 2 damage here. Double block 2 damage here. I feel like I would almost definitely like, so like one thing is like either Gargaroth or Crusher is better. Like I would play that, like, I don't know, I would play the 4th Gargaroth before the first one of this, but I would also like pretty likely be down to like maybe just 4 Gargaroth, 0 Crusher, 8 mana dorks, 0 Thron, 4 Obliterating Bolt if you feel like that's your best removal spell choice. Okay, choose any target. Hold on. The next X damage a sorcery choice would deal to any target. So this is the target. And this is the source. Cool. That's just like, I like that. I like that. I could get used to that. So this is 2, 3, 6. So we can deal them 7 with Idyllic Grange. We just cast Forge-Tender, cast Batterskull. Yeah, I could get used to that. What the heck? And that was just for 2 also. I like 24 lands. It's very surprised you're not playing the full playset of Copperline Gorges over like 2 of these mountains. I would just, you know, definitely do that almost. Okay, we're on the draw here against a mulligan to 6. I think against a mulligan to 6 I can keep. I'm surprised not to see the playset of Rending Volleys. I don't know. It's hard for me to like speak exactly to like Pioneer sideboards, but like if I was building a Pioneer sideboard for when I was prepping Pioneer decks, which was like at this point like 4 months ago, 5 months ago, I would like almost definitely have like 3 hearses in the sideboard for like, you know, blue-red decks and ooh, up against Tron. Probably a horrible matchup. Yeah, just gotta lower that curve a little bit. So just kind of some general thoughts. Blue-white is good in Pioneer. Yeah, I was not my memory that control was good. Alright, well, on the draw against Mono Green Tron, probably like as bad a place you can be with the stack. Maybe they'll stumble. Don't have Tron hate since, you know, there really hasn't been any Tron lately. You got some cards, you know, I guess you only have 2 Prismatic Endings even. We got a Kaldra, what can I say? We got a Kaldra. Any plans to try Martyr Emeria deck again? I don't know, I've got a lot of irons in the fire. I'm not opposed to it, of course, but just have to, you know, find the right day, I guess. Wormcoil still lifelings, that's tough. No, it doesn't, right? Oh, it does, it does. It redirects the damage, doesn't prevent and then deals the damage. Maybe they'll like attack with an Ulamog or something, though. Bummed to hear he hasn't found a home. Yeah, I don't know. I've liked the card when I've played it. It's been like generally fine. It is hard for these like 3-4 mana spells to stand out from the rest of the pack sometimes. Reveal Karn the Great Creator, which is probably going to be hard to beat. I guess if they get Bridge, I could draw a Leyline Binding. What kind of Aspirant Flooded? In the Unctus Affinity deck, have I considered Corridor Monitor? I was thinking about Corridor Monitor when I was trying to build it still as like a blue steel deck. It's an interesting card though. I had a Corridor Monitor deck that probably will never make the stream, but I have high hopes for. Maybe just the card needs to get printed or something. Like I feel like I just need to be able to play more Imperial Recruiters. Like Corridor Monitor, like untap Aether Vial, put in Core Tapper. Like the cool draw is like Aether Vial on 2, Violent Core Monitor, untap Aether Vial, put in Core Tapper, untap, tap Core Tapper, counter on Vial, sack, 2 more counters, put in Kiki Jiki. Die to Lightning Bolt. Opponent, please. I know. You're Tron. You have a good matchup. You gotta take your time, but it's like, just kill me, please. Just kill me. This, you can't just like, please sack your expedition map. Get your Urza's Mine. Kill me. I don't have all day. I don't have all day. I just did a deck tech in between you deciding to crack your map for Sanctum of Ugin. Just come on, kill me, please. Thank you, base. Thank you. Come on, Leyline Binding or Prismatic Ending, I guess. So 6 outs. All right, well, got our wish. Imagine if this was a Chancellor, huh? So I guess I can go counter on Stoneforge Mystic, Aspirant, counter on Stoneforge Mystic. Kill Karn, hit them for 5. Can Karn get bridge under Leyline? It can, yes, can. But hopefully they don't have a second Karn. Yeah, Monitor is good at Vannifar. Probably his Vannifar is so bad. Although I guess I don't know, is it good to play Vannifar in this deck? I don't have any ones. Yeah, you would have to. I don't know. You have to really think about it. But you can Recruiter for Vannifar. Kind of hard to get Vannifar haste. Probably never making your deck better by adding Vannifar either. Better so bad after Tyvar. Yeah, like in general, Tyvar doesn't make 4 mana creatures better, makes 2 mana creatures better, right? Is Crowbar worth main decking for situations like these? No, because you can't. Oh, I guess you can actually activate the thing. No, but no. Also, like, we're not in the main deck Crowbar format. Tron is like incredibly on the decline. It's very rare to run into Tron right now. So it's 100% not a main deck card. You could sideboard it. I am choosing not to sideboard it today. Is it for 4 months? Thank you. Let's get on with it. Oh, if we draw big Solitude, Emeria's Call, or Binding, we're in really good shape to redirect the damage here. Gonna kill 1, 2, 3, 4. They have to get their forest. Well, of course, it seems interesting as a cheaper white card for Shoal. Yeah, but it's just so mid, and like your deck is also full of white cards. You know what I mean? I don't know. I I know. It's just like the mono white Stoneblade players are always like, we're mono white Stoneblade. We have to play Ball and we have to play Lion Sash. You just don't have to play. You don't have to play those cards. I know that you've had no good cards in Modern for the longest time. People run Crowbar. I've played Crowbar in some lists. I think it's sometimes you want it, sometimes you don't. But it's like it's fine. It's like actually kind of nice with Tyvar too. Oh, but if they block the Germ token with Sundering Titan, I actually don't get to redirect. Everyone has to rebrand new Demoto? I guess. I guess, yeah, maybe. At least Sash is good. I wish Sash was good, y'all. Sash was my first ever preview card. They did double Q. Yeah, I mean they're doing something for sure. I'll tell you that. So we put them to 1 here. Don't think it's the right line. I don't know. It's my first ever preview card. I played a lot of it. I was like never happy that card was in my deck really. And Sash against Jog felt amazing. I don't know. Like I'm not saying that it's bad because when you have it in play and you have a lot of mana available against a deck that cares about the graveyard, it's not good. But I'm saying it's bad because it's, you know, slow as hell. The Germ token. I'm still standing after all this time. Okay, come on. Any card with a... No, even a 2-drop works, right? Couldn't you have redirected 10 damage to opponent's face? I could have redirected 2 damage from opponents to opponent's face, and they're at 3. Dude, good thing Karn the Great Creator is just so bad. It's just so bad. Yeah, it's incredible. Because we have the German token alive, we have lethal here. Although now we have, like, super lethal. Let's put another counter on the Germ. Good job, Germ. You're really sticking around this time. Yeah, we didn't need the Shoal this turn, but we'll go ahead and really give it to him. 0 mana spells. Am I right? Am I right? 0 mana Modern Horizons 2. Okay, target them. White card. Source. After they spend 5 minutes reading this card. Why do you say MTGO? This is your all 0 mana spells are Modern Horizons 2 cards. So Force of Negation, Force of Vigor, Force of Rage, Cathar's Shield, Ornithopter. These are all Modern Horizons 2 cards. Pact of the Titan, Modern Horizons 2. Yeah, we could do a Dark Souls run in between Tron players' game actions. Yeah, Snuff Out, yeah, all of them. Yeah, also iteration. In general, any card that is good or 0 mana is a Modern Horizons 2 card, and then everything else is, you know, irrelevant. Dude, when I said my opponent was going to read Shining Shoal for 5 minutes, I was joking. I was joking. That's okay. You read the card. Understand what it does. That's fine. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. I'm going to fire up Dark Souls. Oh, I did actually fire it up. That's okay. I'll keep it up. All right. 0 mana, 7 damage. Word tears are not even that good on the draw. I want no Solitudes. Something like this. Yeah, matchup does seem terrible, but we did win game 1, huh? Just gonna start a little Dark Souls no-hit run here. Just gonna start a little Dark Souls no-hit run. We like definitely get through Asylum during this match. You always play Warrior. Yeah, you need the stats for the. I can still see waiting. I can see the W over there, so my opponent hasn't. Okay, there we go. I actually kind of like this hand. Let's keep this. Yeah, I need the stats because we're not just casually running here. We're trying to no-hit the game. I can see the W. I very strategically put it where I can see the W if my opponent is taking an action. Yeah, we won. We shoaled and dealt 7 damage. My opponent's played an Urza's Power Plant. And something, a Chromatic Sphere. My turn now. Let's go ahead and get Sacred Foundry. Then play an Esper Sentinel. No! You're kidding! I cannot believe how punished I got for playing Dark Souls in between turns. I can't believe how punished I was for playing Dark Souls in between turns. And I can't believe it was Chancellor of the Annex that got me when I'm playing the Shoal deck. You can literally, what the hell? I'm pissed. Ah! I just can't believe I got punished for playing Dark Souls in between turns. I just gotta take it out on some hollows, I guess. Yeah, Chancellor is only good on Magic Online, because you never, like, no one ever knows that it's revealed. I probably still play the Sentinel in turn 1, honestly. Still annoying. I can see the W, so I don't have to tab back. Still, can still see the W. Okay, they played a tower. See the L. What other stream do you have the streamer playing Dark Souls in between turns? Yeah, I do actually have to. I can't tab back during the fight, but I'll just make it fast. I'd like to see Doomwake do this, alright. Wah! Dude, imagine if this is the run and this is like the upload. Ah! I hate the dust that pops up. Sometimes he follows that attack up too. Okay, counter. But my opponent's still not taking a game action, by the way. Dude, we literally did the asylum in between turns. My opponent, have they really not? They're still. They still. I still have no priority. Oh my gosh, I don't like having to play this, but obviously like we're playing it. just casual do the asylum in between turns here. Get feast and famine. What did they reveal? Karn. Sure. Yeah, they Chancellor of the Annexed my Sentinel. If you can believe that. Moose, 9 months, thank you. A land would be really nice so I can go Feast and Famine on Fervent Champion. How about... Dude, when you play Stoneblade decks, you better believe you're drawing your equipment, brother. You're drawing your equipment. We're gonna do the whole run in between turns today. What variety streamer literally just plays 2 games at once? Where else could you see this? Omega Phoenix for a month, thank you. Yeah, this has been a funny game for sure. And if this goes to YouTube, then people can say that I'm finally uploading the runs to YouTube. Huh? Use Dark Souls as hand hider. That would be a flex. Oh, I need a 3rd monitor. Did you say in a recent stream you think Tron should be more in on all his dust since most decks have 2 threats by the time Karn dumps down? So I think that Karn is not good. I would play 0 copies of Karn the Great Creator in Tron. You could play, it's 1 or 0, but I would just play 0. And so when that's the case, I think you should play some number of All Is Dust so you have more 7s. And I think that like All Is Dust becomes a more premium over O-Stone, so you can have more like turn 3 sweepers instead of turn 4 sweepers. But I just think Karn sucks. I just like we beat it. I beat Karn Liberated more often than I lose to it. When my opponent conceded. Okay. Thank you, opponent. Thank you. When my opponent casts Karn the Great Creator, I am more likely to beat Karn Liberated. I feel like I'm more likely to beat it than lose to it. Interesting hand. I like that we have Shoal for binding. Hard to not play Giver turn 1, getting kind of punished by the tap land, but I do think I'm supposed to tap land on turn 1. Any interest in Dark Souls Randomizer? I mean, like a little bit of interest, not as much as, you know, other stuff probably. When it mulls to 6, -4 Liberated plus Ugin plus 4 Lever. I'm also not that impressed by Ugin, honestly. Like Ugin is not very good against Murktide. It's not very good against Hammer. It's not very good against Creativity, which are like 3 of the best decks in the format. The decks it's good against are like Yawgmoth, which is like not super popular. Then that's kind of it. It's like Yawgmoth, Rhinos, kind of. But it just is not that good against like almost any deck. And so like I think I was on like 4 leveler. Hold on, I was talking to. We're talking about this. So this was like the draft I had. I was just on 2 All Is Dust, 4 Worm Coil, 4 leveler, 2 Ulamog, and I was also like, this is experimental. I'm not sure about the Spellskites. You can also play some number of Golos. I think Golos is pretty good, but Spellskite also like protects you against Besage and Ragavan, which are 2 like big problemos. I should get basic planes because of Blood Moon. Jund. Ooh. Interesting. So I'm definitely Ranger-Captaining here, right? The next turn they're gonna swing for 12, but they're really only gonna gain 6. So I guess the shoal can kill the Archon or deal them 6. I think I take Sentinel. What is the reason playing Shoal? Shoal is great. It's a great card. When you're like 0 mana redirecting this damage, like here I'm just gonna go target them, exile Binding from my hand, then choose this as the source. The card is great, and it combos really well with Emeria and Leyline Binding, and I'm also like, testing the theory to some extent that this version is better than the versions that have been playing Chancellor of the Annex. Although it is very funny, I just lost to Chancellor of the Annex, right? The joke was on me. Okay, I think we're supposed to put the counter on the Aspirant for more damage. Triple drop. Yeah, blanks to Shockland for the haste. Mainly used for protection. Yeah, protection, but also just lots of direct damage if they're like Murktiding you. It does a lot of uses. It is not just a super narrow card like maybe it looks. It can be removal, it can be protection, it can be a burn spell, and all for 0 mana. So I guess I'm discarding the card I draw off the Sentinel. So could have maybe held the Giver in for that reason. Probably better to play the Giver. Do I sack the Sentinel? Yeah, I'll sack the Sentinel. Then they're chump blocking with the Archon. No, I just pro black and win. If they don't have, if they drew a land, we're fucked though. They didn't draw a land for. I guess no, they wouldn't have done that. Yeah, I'll just go pro black. Shining Shoal also literally won us this game. Our controls the future of these type decks? Maybe. I mean, so again, the humans deck has been with Shoal and Chancellor has been popping around. My theory that I'm testing, my thesis is that just make your mana base able to support Leyline Binding instead of having to put Chancellor of Annex in your deck. That's my thesis statement. With this list, there's a lot different you could do here. Of course, this is not definitely the best way to build it or anything, but that's my thesis statement. Is Mono Red Hellraiser deck I'd recommend? I feel strong. I mean, I've trophied the only league I played with it on stream. I was 2-1 off stream, I think, but all 3 games were against Amulet Titan in that league, so I was like, I don't know how to evaluate this. I'm just going to play it tomorrow, to be honest. We can keep this, I think. But I get some mold to 6 I don't mind keeping, turn 2 Mystic with Solitude up. Any reason we're not playing the other Triumphs? So we're playing 1 Triumph, 2 Shocklands. I just think this deck is very, very rarely going to want to get 2 tap Triumphs. Where you can even go Triumph Shockland on turn 2 to cast Binding on turn 2. And then the untapped Temple Garden, untapped Sacred Foundry lets you Haywire Mite and Fervent Champion and Wear Tear more easily. You could build the mana base a little bit differently. I think that no matter how you build it, there are pros and cons though. Okay, they're on a mold to 6 Thoughtseizing me. Usually don't mind so much, but my hand is not super resilient to Thoughtseize. We could maybe get Thoughtseize bugged. Has Shoal potential in other decks like Atraxa or Solitude decks. With Atraxa, that's actually a really interesting use I hadn't even thought of. I think that I think that you want to have a lot of cheap creatures with Shoal, so that way it's easier to just redirect 6 or 7 damage and kill your opponent. But I like that thought for sure. Yeah, but 2 mana binding is still pretty good, and you can 1 mana binding eventually. But you know, it's also, you know, good to pitch the Shoal. Is the real thing. It's like binding in this deck is not as good as it is in other decks for sure. But they kept a 1-lander. It's not as good as it is in other decks. They kept the 1-lander on the play. Just mull to 5 in your Ridden 6 deck. You're Ridden 6, mull to 5. But just like, but I think you need like a lot of these high expensive cards to make Shoal like really powerful. And I think Chancellor is only good on Magic Online. Chancellor of the Annex is good on Magic Online. We saw this earlier actually, where like your opponents just don't realize that you revealed it, and then they get got by it. It just happened when I played against Tron. Big's been Floop, 17 months, thank you. Alright, Mana Flood versus Mana Screw, huh? So if they have Rin and 6 like in Binding, but them getting that 3rd land is definitely pretty key. Guess that's why they kept them. Seems workable in Esper Sentinel because you can Treat and Solitude as 1 mana spells with Ephemerate. Maybe. Probably playing a Fable. Is it better to binding the Fable or binding the token? I think with me casting the Batterskull here, it's better to binding the token or the Fable. Sorry. Any chance you wouldn't have Summon of Ephemerate? I mean, right now we have 4 cards that work really well with Ephemerate, and we have 4 cards that work okay with it. So 4 Solitude are great with Ephemerate. Stoneforge is medium to mediocre with Ephemerate, and then no other synergies. Oh, so we have Ranger-Captain too. Maybe, yeah, maybe. Like the first copies, maybe just like correct the play. What happens when you run out of play points? You die. If you run out of play points in the game, you die in real life. Batterskull! Haven't bounced a Batterskull in a long time. Can Idyllic Grange on the Batterskull? 1 extra point of power. Okay. Good draw. Kind of bad into a creativity, but they have to have, you know, like fetch land plus creativity here, which they could have, but they don't definitely have. And if I can hit them to 1 here, then their Fable's turned off. We can also draw an Archon, or sorry, an Orvar if they off the Sentinel trigger, maybe if we're lucky. They have the fetch lands. Surely, if they had creativity, that would have already been on the stack, though, right? No, we gotta think about that one, I guess. I got some outs, but likely going to game 3. That's one of the outs. Their life total is now very, very high, though. Must be nice. Alright, well. Orvar, Solitude, 4th Binding. Dead. Game 3. Yeah, they kept a 1-lander, right? Ugh, weird game. I kind of want the 4th Aspirant on the play. Could trim a Shoal, maybe. They're a Lightning Bolt deck. Shoal seems pretty good. Don't want to cut the Batterskull. Batterskull is so good that game. I might cut the Batterskull, though. Let's do that. For Solitude or Batterskull? I don't know. Like 8 removal spells is kind of high. I think like trimming a Solitude is good. I like this hand a lot. It's like really painful, but it's a good start. It's the best curve in Modern. Sentinel into Aspirant. With Shoal to protect it too. Is Giant Killer no good? I think we just have already a million answers to Archon with the Orvars and the Binding and the Solitude. I don't think you want it. So I could get Sacred Foundry. I guess my life total is not under that much pressure. I'm sure Vanessa put the one on Fervent Champion. It just is like correct to play, I think, in a deck that has like 11 red sources and 4 Ranger-Captain, 4 Stoneforge Mystics, and a sword. I don't think it's very deep even at all. It's just like very easy to like, just like 100% correct to play the first copy, and like only playing one makes like the splash like really easy as well. Oh yeah, this keeps happening, and then my thing keeps being moved over. Okay, hopefully it's Bolt, not Push. Okay, so let's draw our card before we Shoal. I think I pitched the Emeria's Call, right? Yeah, so cast, target them, exile, source. So crazy. That's crazy good. They're at 12, it's their turn 2. We lose our Sentinel now, but it's draw me 2 cards also. Wild. I think I'm gonna put a counter on Sanctifier. I know it's 1 less damage, but like buffing the Sanctifier is really good. Bad against the Ren. Don't need to sack the Ranger-Captain here. They're not casting Creativity is interesting. Don't think that they're ever chump blocking. I feel like the deck needed slightly better late game draws. Good section against Cascade is nice, yeah, for sure. I've been trying Ranger-Captain on 2, not doing Stoneforge package. Yeah, so like I think so. My idea behind this version, like the big idea here is that Binding is better than Chancellor by a lot. But I think that your human package of like Champion, Thalia's Lieutenant, like 1 isn't like really that good in the first place, and 2 is like much worse with like any number of tap lands and like the kind of the slower mid-range plan. And I also think Stoneforge is a lot better with Shoal. Being able to protect it on turn 2 is kind of the theories here. Yeah, I don't know how they beat Upkeep Ranger-Captain Sec here with just 2 Sanctifiers. They're just at 5. We have 5 pro red. No, I know how they win. They win with the green Gain Life card. Okay. So we were off to an 0-1 start, but we're bounced back to 3-1. Even beating Tron on the way. Let's get a prediction going. Yeah, I think like don't have Stoneforge Mystic, don't have a 2-drop, we do have something big to pitch, we don't have anything to protect. We're gonna mulligan. That looks a lot better. I think I just put back the Prismatic Ending. It's close. I've killed people to don't hand me this 7 CMC was super relevant. 7 CMC is super relevant compared to 6. Because I don't really think it is. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I put back the Aspirant. I think I'll put back the ending. I think on the draw I'd keep the ending, but on the play I'm gonna put it back the so on the draw I put back the Aspirant so I get ending on turn 1, but I'm on the play. Any plans to revisit the Walls deck, or is Amulet still too popular? Monday, I would have said like Walls was going to be played at any moment. Yesterday, we played against Titan like 5 times or something. We'll see. I don't know if there's a clip, but it's at the beginning of the VOD, Oshin. I closed Dark Souls, but my opponent is like really in the tank on my instep here. Oh, they disconnected. Okay, well. Oh, there is Marv. Thank you, Marv. Y'all clipping the deck text is huge, by the way. I really appreciate you doing that. Bizarro, thank you for the 26 months. Yeah, the Fiend Artisan Tyvar potential. Yeah. Alright, continuing our Dark Souls run today. the YouTube viewers are feasting. Although I don't think there's too many YouTube Dark Souls fans, really. We've been just trying to no-hit Dark Souls in between turns of Magic today. Will I brew any sewer anytime soon? I'd never set out to brew a specific color combo. Okay, my opponent's back. Alright, I made it like 10 feet. I'm never like, I'm gonna brew a black-white deck today. I will brew a black-white deck if, like, you know, some inspiration strikes, but yeah, except for Sultai, of course. But I'm never like, all right, it's Sultai Thursday, let's go. Yeah, 10 feet further in. I think that does count base. Yeah, sewers typically refers to black-white. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fetch my Triome before Goblin Guide trigger happens so that I don't accidentally reveal the Triome and I can't put it into play in this game. Flip a Fervent Champion. But I'm definitely happy with this curve of Stoneforge Mystic for Batterskull into Extraction Specialist, get back Stoneforge Mystic. Ever brewed with Deathless Knight from Thunder Drain? I love Deathless Knight. Deathless Knight is one of my favorite cards I've never played with. It's like very, very interesting card to me. I've started to brew. I think it's like, I don't think that there's really enough synergy with it. But it is definitely a card that's on my radar. This matchup's got to be great, right? We're like a Nourishing Shoal, Batterskull, Forge-Tender deck. There's a Shining Shoal, and we have a Shining Shoal on top. Yeah, but Deathless Knight's like 4 Devotion on a recursive 4/2 haste. It has like less combo potential because they only return it once a turn, but I've always loved that card. It's a Throne of Eldraine card, so it's also broken. Theoretically, they can palm my Shoal. I think so, yeah. I don't know why they wouldn't be able to. Just casual up 4 minutes on the burn opponent. Chicken Waffle, 4 months, thank you. Just 0 mana 2 for 2 is so crazy. Extraction Specialist does have a damage on it now. I wonder if Skyclave Mal would be a good tutor for Shining Shoal pitch. See, I'll say this, chat. Y'all are only suggesting Skyclave, Maul of the Skyclaves, as a white card to pitch. You're not saying, hey, Spike, I think Shining Shoal, or sorry, I think that Maul of the Skyclaves is a good card. No one's like, hey, Spike, I think Maul of the Skyclave rocks, and that card's really powerful, and we can put it on our creatures for value. Y'all are saying we could pitch it to our white cards in a deck that's like we got white cards in the deck, you know what I mean? We got white cards in the deck. Was Shining Shoal just slept on or something changed? So, Shining Shoal with the Emeria the Sky Ruin and Chancellor, I can't remember who it was, but it's been doing well in challenges. It's a very, very powerful card. I have a thesis that Leyline Binding is like much better than Chancellor of the Annex, which is why we're playing here today. This is my, twist, my innovation or whatever. Yeah, but there's also there being a lot of red decks is the big thing, of course. So we don't draw a land, we can Sophie Fervent Champion. Oh, sorry, this is Esper Triumph. Okay. Good enough, though. Good enough. Probably frustrating for burn opponents to run into, like, Lifelinker, Shining Shoal, right? And it's not getting any better for them. Even getting worse. Could keep Kaldra in. Kaldra's kind of nice when they bring in, like, smashes and stuff, and this is just indestructible. I guess we got the Aspirants. Haywire Mite does say the words gain life on it. Is like 1 mana 1/1 chump blocker gain 2 good enough against burn? Maybe in some decks, but we have a lot of it's not like we're really hurting for cards against burn. So I was thinking Spike. Wow, someone's suggesting Maul for sure, huh? So it's just so funny. It does not kill Eidolon. Haywire Mite only gets rid of non-creatures. Okay, but yeah, when someone says, "Hey Spike, I think that Maul of the Skyclaves is like a really good card to put in your deck. It's a good card. You're happy to draw it. You're happy to tutor for it." And instead of Spike, let's put Maul of the Skyclaves so we can get rid of it as soon as possible. As soon as I hear someone say something other than Spike, let's put this card in your deck so we can get rid of it as soon as possible, I'll consider it more, huh? Because we are really not hurting on white cards to pitch. I don't think that there really is potential for Raffine, no. It's just not a modern card, what can I say? If I had the fortune in my opening hand, I wouldn't have Solitude the Swift Spear, could have Solitude this. No Chalice. Chalice is like a lot worse against burn than it used to be, and we actually probably have a similar number of white cards against them, and we're on the draw. Also, nobody's even like complimented the stream title. Shining Stoneblade. Yeah, but post-board we have like, we have got 10 1-drops, they have 12 on the draw. It's just not worth it, I think. No, they have 16, rather, so they have 16. Do I ever double block here? I think if they're attacking like this, they're fishing for the double block, so let's not give it to them. Oh boy. Maybe Lion Slash. Lion Slash is my disappointing son. Lion Slash was my first and only one of 3. I don't get a lot of preview cards, so I haven't had a preview card in since Double Masters. And so I was really, really excited for like my first ever preview card, Lion Sash. I played a lot of Lion Sash. That card is also not a card I'm like excited to put into my deck. It's just like very classic like modern deck building. People, when you have any tutors in your deck, people play way too many tutor targets. I mean, I could just like let this die and then put the Batterskull into play, right? People just play way too many 2 targets in their index of Stoneforge Mystic. We have 3 targets. That's plenty. That's more than enough, even. Well, that's actually exactly enough. What, Tyver plus Stoneforge? Do you think it could work? I mean, that is something that the Devoted Druid deck plays to great effect. That's not necessarily the only shell you can play it in, but it is like a good shell for it, I think. So they have another burn spell on the Germ token. It's not like super ideal, but they're out of cards in hand and I'm at 20 life. And if I draw a fetch land, I can Binding the Eidolon. But they also have to have another burn spell that targets as their last card. Which they have, that's fine. They're also down to 8. Well, not super ideal, but I'm at 20. Let's just go ahead and play both of these. I can double block the Eidolon, maybe. Can maybe let it have a turn. An Eddie Burbank subscriber, Solemn. Very based. Yeah, I think the double blocks are just fine. It's kind of bad if they drew a targeted burn spell. It's really good if they don't, and we're still doing like really fine if they, even if they did draw one. Okay, they did draw one. Kind of actually the worst one for us because this deals us damage. Well, can Solitude this and buy time till we draw that mythical 3rd land. Although we had the 3rd land and pitched it, I guess. Yeah, Eddie's really good. You should watch the Eddie video where he goes to every single rainforest cafe still left in the United States. That video is amazing. All his videos are really good, but that's my favorite. Sure, that would have been lethal. Well, it's only 1 damage, Searing Blaze, right? What is a rainforest cafe? It's like a Chili's, but it's like Chili's, but there's like rainforest themes. It's like, it's a vibe. That's true. It's a vibe for sure. It's like Chili's, but there's like a lot of like animatronics and stuff, and there's like an aquarium. Yeah, the food isn't as good either. Not that area. I don't know. I don't mind having Chili's. Yeah, Chili's in the jungle. And more expensive. It's like a little bit worse than Chili's food-wise. But you're paying for, you're not paying for the food, you're paying for the experience. Yeah. Finally, I'm playing a deck with a good burn matchup. It has been a while since I fired up a stream with a good burn matchup. They were also so dead to like specialists get back Forge-Tender. But it's okay, it's okay. They got pretty flooded too. Okay, so 0-1 into 4-1. What was, people were saying there was a lot of doubters. What was the 41? No, that's not too bad. A little bit below average. Let's run it back. Let's run it back. Shoal, you know, crazy card. Keep opening Tabernacles. They're not very expensive. Wish I was opening them in paper instead.